Hi, everybody. Firstly, I apologize for my voice. It's not because of the party. I was like this since last week. I promise. She can testify. So, a few clarifications before we start. We actually think we're in the wrong theme, so I wanted to apologize to all developers and maybe more techie people that's here who thought we found this amazing way of integrating these things. No. So really, what the name of the presentation says, I'll just explain a bit. So we're both educators and administrators and really pedagogical people. And so we had to look beyond the borders of what Moodle provides to find other ways of including applications that works for our constituency that we work with. And so really we're not integrating in the techie perception of what integration means, the Zoom and the WhatsApp, but instead we're using it alongside our Moodle courses, almost as a separate tool, but in combination. So that's what we'll be sharing about today. I just wanted to clear that possible disappointment before we start. Yeah, let's move into, so who's our organization? We're from South Africa, but we're a global organization called a very long name, as you can see there, International Federation of Workers' Education. So we provide education for workers globally through unions and member-based organizations. We are a global federation, as I said, the only international federation for worker educators. And our affiliates are educator associations from many different countries. We provide informal education, so not formal university, not accredited, voluntary education. Our topics provide education on political themes, workplace education, and a lot of skills training, basic foundational skills training. And we use a very particular education methodology, which I'll tell you a little bit more about, very participatory type of methods of learning. And as I said, we're from South Africa. Is there any other South Africans here? We have one there. Our friends from UNISA? South African University. Amandla, comrades, Amandla. Okay, so who's our participants in our courses? As I was saying, it's trade union across the globe, as well as member-based associations, non-governmental, non-profit, community type of organizations. So we provide training for these organizations, and they even teach them how to do Moodle courses, design Moodle courses, and they all use our Moodle platform, which you can imagine has like 300 rooms inside it, because each of these unions have their own classroom within our platform. And then they provide their education or their training that we support them to design to the end user, which is very precarious workers in most cases. So just some photos of our end user participants from Nepal and Cambodia. As you can see, this is our type of participants, domestic workers associations, and the end user of the courses is domestic workers. This is the Kenya Hair and Beauty Union, and that is just to give you some context of who we provide education for. So what type of education do we do? As I said, it's adult education, it's informal, and it's for workers. So we're very specific in the methodology that we use. And the reason for this is that those who know the sector of the labor movement, worker education as a education on its own has a very specific value set of how education should be conducted, and this has come from many, many years ago, hundreds of years ago, the way that unions started. And those values and methods that is used is firstly participatory in all ways. So the human factor is massive. There's nothing like, here's a bunch of courses, do it and then get a degree. No, we need that type of learning from each other, combined experiences, more so than on a pedagogical level, also on a level of building solidarity and democracy. So that's why this method is so important for us, and there's no really getting away from it. So we use this type of method for participants to share with each other from all different global contexts, different unions in different countries. So for instance, in one of our courses, we'll have 7 domestic workers associations from different, completely different countries, and they will share experiences in a participatory method. The other method that we use is popular methods, which I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with, but it's really as well a method that requires a very high degree of participation, again, from everybody involved. Everybody learns and everybody teaches, so there's not that power difference. Everybody's equal, so the teacher knows as much, is seen to know as much as what the student knows, and vice versa, because we value that everybody has something to contribute to the learning process. Just for interest's sake, yesterday this was one of the main things that came out in the workshop that we had with Martin on how the classroom of the future would look like. And everybody agreed that it should go towards this method of education, where there is not that power relation anymore between teachers and students, but where it's built on equality. Yes, so just keep that in mind when we speak to you further. But just to share with you what our online labor academy looks like, we call it OLA, as you see there, OLA. Not Hola like the Spanish one, but also OLA. Yeah, so that's what it looks like from the front. It was established. We started using Moodle and pioneering online education in the labor movement in 2012, which is about 10 years ago now. We chose Moodle for all the obvious reasons that many people have said in this room. I'm not going to go into that again. But maybe for the flexibility that it offered for us to be able to use it as either a central hub to store all our courses, even attendance registers, administration purposes, and it supported in some way some of the participatory methods that we had to find a way of doing online. And as I said, some of our participants, even the educators, have a very low level of formal education themselves. So we had to find ways that we can bring them into the Moodle process slowly. Why is it not moving? There we go. So just standing back a bit, if you look at what everybody's been talking about at this conference, it's over there, the last button, on what the future of education is, and really we're curious about it, but our reality is not that, not at all. We're over here where the arrow is, and quite on the uphill still in the labor movement. And unfortunately, the labor movement also provides education for the majority of people around the world. So it's quite a sad fact that this is really our reality and not over there somewhere where we'd like to be on the second leap. So that's just a reality check. This picture also paints a good contextual understanding of where the workers are and how far they are removed from these things, technology, access, Wi-Fi bandwidth, and most important, skills to work with those things, because even if the access is there, the skills isn't there. So you might ask, why don't you just use Moodle and get all the workers on there and, yeah, we all have nice education happening on Moodle? That is not possible for us, because Moodle is such, as everybody knows, Moodle is a bit easier to use than Facebook, or maybe a bit harder to use. But to get our constituency and our participants on there takes so long. Like if you'd sit in a workshop with us, it would take about an hour to get everybody in that workshop just enrolled in the course because of the digital literacy level. So we had to say, okay, this isn't it for us. We need to meet them where they are at, not think of what we want, but where we can pick them up, slowly journey on this process, introducing Moodle, LMSs, different ways of learning, but through actual tools that they know and can relate with. And in our case, it was WhatsApp and Zoom, which most workers were exposed to in some degree, or some used more often. yeah, so really what I'm trying to paint a picture for you is, for us, it's more about deepening democracy, really, and bridging that digital divide than it is about the education we're offering. And we just see online education as a tool to do that. Yeah, so I'll give over to you from here to get into the practical aspect.
Okay, so firstly, as Renaldi was stating earlier, that our participants are basically precarious workers. So they are mostly people from developing countries, and these are some of the challenges that we had to face when running courses on Moodle, like limited access to devices like computers, a low bandwidth, a low level of digital literacy, poor level of English, and also the fear of the unknown, learning online in a different way, something that they're not used to, is something that we struggled with. So before I jump into explaining all the 3 tools that we use to support our Moodle courses, I just want to give a short summary of how we use these 3 tools. Like the first one, Google Translate, is basically integrated in our Moodle platform, so we use it regularly inside our courses to translate certain pages and discussion forums, which is very useful for people from different countries to actually engage with each other. And then WhatsApp is also it's a popular tool. A lot of countries use it, and it's easy for us to communicate with them and to create a WhatsApp course group at the beginning of the course where we can share information with them, or even the link to the course inside the WhatsApp group. And then the third tool, which is Zoom, is also very useful in terms of just providing that sense of you part of something in the course and orientation to how to use Moodle, how to enroll, how to register, and also having the weekly lessons, the weekly sessions combined with the Moodle course. So the first tool, Google Translate, as you know, we accommodate participants from a diverse global community, different levels of digital literacy, different levels of English proficiency. So Google Translate was really a safe haven in some sort, a life-saving tool for us to include more participants inside our courses. This is an example of a course that we ran around the topic of climate change. And as you can see, there are countries all over the world, mostly from the global south, some from the Middle East, and what is great is that they can share their experiences and what is happening in their own country. And with Google Translate, they are able to actually engage in the discussion forums in their native language, which I will show you now. So here we have the Google Translate tool inside the course, and in this example, the discussion forum is in Spanish, and the participant is able to translate it into English or whatever language they prefer. So we always encourage them to just express themselves in their own language and using the Google Translate button at the top to translate into the language that the other participant prefer. Then the second tool, which is WhatsApp, is a great tool for them to actually communicate on a regular basis and for us to introduce them to the course and for them to introduce themselves. It is more accessible. WhatsApp is very instant. It's quicker for everyone to engage. It's like an open channel, basically. With Moodle, the engagement might not be every day. The participant maybe just log in twice a week, where with WhatsApp, it's more instant, so that engagement is ongoing. We do have, provide them guidelines of how to set rules for the WhatsApp group, because if it's participants from different time zones, you have to respect their time. But it's a very useful tool for them to feel like they're continuously part of something throughout the course. And then some examples of what is shared in the WhatsApp course groups are like pictures, screenshots of the sections in the course. We do screen recordings of what we do in the Moodle course, summaries of the weekly workshops, homework for the upcoming week. We also use the voice notes sometimes when participants aren't able to access the Moodle platform because of the challenges that they have with bandwidth or access to the computer. we allow them to actually share their opinion on the topic in the course with voice notes. So that's an alternative way for us to get input. And then also sharing their presentations from the assignments they have to do in one of our study circle programs that we have. So here's another example of how we actually add a WhatsApp invitation link inside the course. So it's basically an embedded image. So if you click on the image, it takes you to the WhatsApp group. We also use it in the other way, where we actually share the link of the course in the WhatsApp group if the participant is already part of the WhatsApp group. So we shift between platforms to make it more flexible for the participant. And here's another example where we use WhatsApp again to share the link to the weekly sessions or the weekly lessons of the course. And here's also an example of participants sharing what they've been doing for their assignments in the course. Another example of where participants are sharing activities, updates on their activities related to the course. This is a study circle that we are running from Malaysia, and the topic is about migrant rights. So they are able to use WhatsApp to share what they've been doing with activities in the course. And then here's the example of voice notes. This topic is on climate change, so we provide the participant the opportunity to share their input on certain issues related to the topic. And then we also use WhatsApp as a tool to advertise our upcoming courses. So in this example, we are advertising how to use Ola as a student on a mobile device. So it's basically how to use the Moodle app. This is the easy way for them to be updated of what is coming up and how to register by just clicking on the PDF there. Then the last tool is the use of Zoom. Now with Zoom, for us, I think is a great tool for where you can actually strengthen the human aspect within the course. Instead of just doing the activities in the course with no human interaction, I think Zoom is something that is lacking and that we use a lot because our participants need that kind of interaction. It's also a great tool to introduce the participants to Moodle, as Renaldi was stated earlier, that it's actually quite difficult for them to learn how to register, how to enroll, so they need that live interaction to learn step by step how do they register, how do they enroll in the course. And then it's also good for relationship building and networking to gauge the level of understanding from the participants on the topic, and for us to create an atmosphere of participatory learning, because this is what we stand for, what we want to create when we do training. Then here's another example just of a Zoom link in one of our courses. So the participant are able to just access the link inside the course. And then this is just an example of a session, online session, and an illustration of that human aspect that we want to bring, a sense of community, a sense of belonging, where people come together and share their experiences from the different countries. That's something that Zoom brings for us and which is important and for them to feel that sense of global community.
Yeah, so we're just going to share a short video that we made a few years ago about the struggle that we had to get some of our unions and affiliates onto Moodle. So we need to just press the button to start it. There we go. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about our journey up to here. And what's the way forward for us as an organization is really to continue the work that we're doing and support and equip a critical mass of educators that provides education for workers, as well as help them to design and learn to administrate their own Moodle platforms eventually to conduct worker education globally. Thank you. Any questions? Welcome.
Thank you so much. That was excellent. I really love the inclusion of the video. So, questions?
Good morning. My name is Gary. I work for the training center of the ILO labor organization. So, I mean, we also work with workers' organization, and we face the same challenges now in specific countries, and also in some cases we have to use WhatsApp and things like that. But obviously, the challenge with WhatsApp is that everything is outside of the platform. So when we talk about learning analytics, there is no tracking of engagement and assignment. And I was wondering, did you try to use, for instance, the Moodle mobile app, you know, for the communication, for the assignment? And if that's the case, what was the results of this, of piloting the Moodle mobile app for your workers' organization? Yeah. And would like to talk after with you also.
Yeah, thank you. So on your first point about WhatsApp being outside of the platform, you know, I think although this whole conference is about integrations and plugins and how to get everything work better together, we were more on the opposite page. Like, why does everything need to be integrated? You know, other than the one reason to have a central place that's easy for educators. But we're not in the business to make it easy for educators. You know, we're in the business of making it easy for students. So for us, we do, like, after I run a course or, you know, we actually just download our WhatsApp threads on our computers and make a link back to the course. So if someone wants to go see what was the kind of discussions that are going on in the WhatsApp, we upload it there, which is just about the first point. About the Moodle app, we had so many challenges with it. Many people here before in this room spoke about why, but I think there's still that gap for workers to enter into the app for learning, where WhatsApp didn't have that gap, you know, and the accessibility. So yes, we are able now to get many more on there, but I would say in percentage-wise, maybe in a course, 50% use the Moodle app. Others still prefer either the browser, those who have laptops, or engaging via the WhatsApp. And we've learned little tricks in the WhatsApp, you know, like structure it according to topics as well. So this week it's only this topic, you know, and this. But yeah, so we are exploring and learning continuously how to better use the app.